Why does the power go out sometimes? Hi, welcome to Curious Kids Every Day. I'm Josh. How are you doing today? It's so good to hear from you. Hey, have you ever been playing at your house when all of a sudden the lights go out? Oh! All the electronics in your house stop working. What do your parents say when that happens? The power's out. That's what I always say. But what does that really mean? The power's out. What causes that? Why does it happen? Sometimes if it's thundering and lightning outside, it happens. But sometimes it can happen even just in the middle of the day, seemingly for no reason. Have you ever wondered why that happens? I was thinking about this question because I got an email from a curious kid named Uli. Uli wondered, why does the power go out? To understand why the power goes out, we first need to understand how electricity gets to your house in the first place. Now, unless you have some of those fancy solar panels we talked about a few weeks ago on the show, most electricity is made at power plants. These can be places with spinning turbines powered by water or wind or heat or other energy sources. When those turbines spin, they help create electricity. Now, once electricity is made, it has to travel a long way to reach you. Do you know how it gets there? Well, let me ask you a question. Have you ever been out driving with your family and noticed those really big, tall poles with the wires that kind of go up and down, up and down, up and down from one pole to the next? You know what I'm talking about? That's called the power grid. And that's how electricity gets to your house. It includes tall power lines, smaller neighborhood lines, transformers, and lots of equipment that helps control how electricity flows. Because electricity has to travel through so many different parts, well, there are many places where something can go wrong. One common reason the power goes out is the one we already talked about, the weather. Strong winds can knock tree branches into power lines, and heavy snow or ice can make lines too heavy and cause them to sag or break. Lightning can send a giant surge of electricity into the system and damage equipment. When this happens, the power company often shuts the power off on purpose to keep things safe. For example, let's talk about transformers. Transformers are pretty cool. See, they're a piece of equipment that helps control how strong electricity is as it moves through the power system. Electricity has to travel long distances at very high strength so that it does not lose energy along the way. But before that electricity can safely enter neighborhoods and homes like yours, a transformer is used to lower the voltage to a much safer level. You've likely seen transformers as metal boxes on the ground or as large cylinders attached to power poles up in the air. Transformers can play a part in power outages because they're designed to protect the system. If there's a lightning strike or a short circuit or too much electricity flowing at once, safety devices connected to the transformer can shut the power off to prevent fires. And in more serious cases, the transformer itself can be damaged, which causes a power outage until it's repaired or replaced. Another reason power can go out is accidents. Sometimes a car hits a utility pole. Sometimes construction crews dig into the ground and accidentally hit an underground power line. When those things happen, electricity can no longer flow the way it's supposed to. Power can also go out because of something called an overload. This happens when too many people are using a lot of electricity at the same time. I remember a few winters ago, this happened here in Nashville. It was so cold outside that everybody had their heat turned on. And when that happened, it overloaded the power grid, and the electricity went off for quite a while, if I remember correctly. Now, sometimes power outages are planned. The power company might turn off electricity to fix equipment, or replace old lines, or make upgrades. That way, they can prevent bigger problems later. So, now that we know why power outages happen, let's talk about what happens when the power goes out. How do we get it back? How do we get the power back to our houses? Well, when a problem is detected, circuit breakers and switches stop the flow of electricity so that wires don't overheat or start fires. Crews are then sent out to find the problem. Their job is to fix it and then carefully turn the power back on. Depending on the severity of the problem, the electricity can come back on in a few minutes or a few hours, or in some rare cases, maybe even a few days. A power grid has a lot of safety features built in so that if anything goes wrong, parts of the grid can shut down to keep everyone safe. Because it's only safe for all that electricity to flow if everything is working properly. At the first sign of trouble, it's time to shut down until we can figure this out. So even though a power outage means your electricity isn't working in your house, it also means that the power grid is working, because the power grid is designed to protect your home by cutting off electricity until whatever problem is happening is resolved. So when your power goes out, it actually means that things are working as they should. The power grid is an amazing invention, and all of the safety features that make it work as well as it does are even more amazing. I am so grateful every day that I don't even really have to think about electricity. And really the only time I do is when it goes off very occasionally. And even then, it usually comes back on in no time at all. Did you know that some hospitals and important buildings have giant backup generators that can turn on within seconds when the power goes out? That makes a lot of sense because a place like a hospital really can't afford to lose power. All right, let's have a quick quiz. What do we call the giant network that moves electricity to homes? We call that the power grid. And can you name one kind of weather that can cause a power outage? It could be wind, or lightning, or snow, or ice. Okay, here's another one. Why might the power company turn electricity off on purpose? Maybe to fix equipment or to upgrade things. Okay, let's play true or false. True or false? Electricity is stored inside your walls. That is false. True or false? A car hitting a utility pole can cause a power outage. Yep, that's true. True or false? Power outages always mean something is broken forever. That's false. Would you rather be able to turn into electricity to move through the power grid, or be a lightning strike hitting the ground? I'm trying to imagine what it would feel like to be a lightning strike. That does sound cool, but it also sounds cool to shoot through wires so fast. I think I'd rather move through the power grid. That sounds pretty cool. Okay, here's a couple of rounds of What Am I? What am I? I help change electricity to safer levels. I can be on a pole or in a metal box. And I help power reach homes. What am I? I am a transformer. All right, here's one more. What am I? I make electricity for many homes. I use spinning machines. And I'm usually far away from your neighborhood. What am I? I am a power plant. Well, now you know what might be happening when your power goes out. It could be a few things, but the important thing to remember is that it's usually by design. When your electricity goes out, there's a good reason. It usually means it's trying to keep you safe. And it'll turn back on as soon as it's safe for it to be back on. Electricity is traveling a long way through a big system, and sometimes that system needs to pause so everything can stay safe. What kind of question do you think we'll ask tomorrow on Curious Kids Every Day? I can't wait to find out, so until then, keep asking questions and stay curious, kids. And we've got some birthdays today. It's Ledger's birthday. Ledger is from Utah, and Ledger is turning 4. Happy 4th birthday, Ledger. And Ruben is from the United Kingdom, and Ruben is turning 9. Happy 9th birthday, Ruben. For all the grown-ups listening, if your curious kid wants their birthday mentioned on the show, please visit supportcuriouskids.com and join the Curious Kids Club. That's supportcuriouskids.com. See you tomorrow.